This is Heather Alexander with the COVID-19 news update. Are you confused about what to do during this pandemic? Let me try and help clear a few things up for you. First of all, you need to stay inside at all times, by yourself, with no one, unless you have family or friends that live with you, in which case you can socialize, but just with them, and you should be safe. Now, if you do need to go outside, then you need to wear a mask. Masks are pretty much useless, but they may save your life anyway. There are some masks that are acceptable and some that are not. The N95 mask is only acceptable by health professionals and people that are having health problems, breathing problems, for instance, that have to wear the N95 mask. Your Halloween mask is not advisable during this time. Please make sure that you have a breathing mask that covers your nose and your mouth only. Now, in order for you not to get sick, you need to eat well and exercise. Whatever you have on hand is what you are going to eat, because you are not going out to the store unless you absolutely have to. Now, if you do have to go out, then you're going to get some fresh air and you want to walk through the park. Do not sit down, and make sure you keep your distance from other people. If you are elderly or pregnant or incapacitated in some way and you need to sit down, please sit, but not for too long, and don't sit next to anybody else, okay? Now, you can go to retirement homes, but you have to take care of the elderly and bring them food and medication, but you cannot see them, so you have to leave these items at the door and then run away. The stores are mostly closed, except that for those that are open. Hardware stores are open as essential stores, and yet not the hairdresser. Okay. There is no shortage of groceries in the supermarket, but there are many items that are missing on the shelves if you do go there, such as toilet paper and cleaning supplies, because people are hoarding those in mass quantities. Try to go in the morning when the store first opens so that you can get in there, but don't pretend to be an old person so you can get in during old person's times, because that's reserved just for older people. Now, you can get restaurant food delivered to the house, which may have been prepared by people who didn't wear masks or gloves. When getting deliveries, please leave them outside the house for 3 hours to decontaminate. I realize this is going to put a damper on your pizza, but pizza's good all the time. Doesn't even matter if it's cold or not. Now, if you are sick, you cannot go out, but you may need to go out to the pharmacy, and that is acceptable. You should not go to the hospital unless you have to go to the hospital. The same applies to doctors. If you have to go there in case of an emergency, or provided that you are too sick. If you do get sick, you may have many symptoms. You could also get sick without symptoms, and you could have symptoms without being sick, or be contagious without having any symptoms. I hope this is very clear. This virus is deadly, but not too scary, except that sometimes when it actually does lead to a global disaster and death, but it only affects those that are vulnerable. And in this situation, everyone is vulnerable. Gloves won't help, but they could still help. Just wash your hands when you're done with them. Everyone needs to stay home, but it's important to go out and get some fresh air. Now, the virus has no effect on children except for those children that it does affect, and as well as animals. Animals are not affected except for the few cats and dogs that have been tested and found to have the virus. You cannot see your older grandmother or mother, but you can take a taxi with an older taxi driver to go and see them. The number of deaths is being counted as far as we know, but we don't know how many people are infected, and we only have that information so far as those that are almost dead to find out what it is they may have died of. So we really don't know what the death count is yet. It could be higher and it could be lower. We have no treatment, except that there will be one, apparently not dangerous unless you take too much of it, which is the case with all medications. It's safer at home unless you are an essential employee or you need to go to an essential place, and then just do what you want. But you must stay home, and we can fine you, or you can be put in jail unless you are an essential employee and you need to go out to an essential place, and then just do what you want. Now, at this point, we all have Schrodinger's disease. We both have and do not have the virus. You are safe if you maintain an appropriate social distance, but you cannot go out with friends or strangers at a safe social distance. The virus remains active on different surfaces for 2 hours, or 4 hours, 6. We don't even know. It could be days, okay? But it takes a damp environment for it to grow, and this heat, we don't really know anything about it. We hope it's going to go away from the heat. The virus stays in the air is something that we do know. Well, it does stay in the air, but it also can land on surfaces. Now, if it falls, then what if it fell into the schools before? Then the number of deaths is being counted as far as we know, but we don't know how many people are infected, and we only have that information so far as those that are almost dead to find out what it is they may have died of. So we really don't know what the death count is yet. It could be higher and it could be lower. We have no treatment except that there will be one, apparently not dangerous unless you take too much of it, which is the case with all medications. It's safer at home unless you are an essential employee or you need to go to an essential place, and then just do what you want. But you must stay home, and we can fine you, or you can be put in jail unless you are an essential employee and you need to go out to an essential place, and then just do what you want. Now, at this point, we all have Schrodinger's disease. We both have and do not have the virus. Homeschooling children is a good thing to remember that baking is math, science, and art are all part of schoolwork. Housework and hygiene are. Now, at this point around the globe, many parents are realizing that homeschooling is a lot harder than they thought it would be. And some are finding it much easier. You want to take the easy route? Remember that baking is math, science, and art. Housework and hygiene are biology. The world will thank you for teaching these things to your children. Now, no business will go down during coronavirus, except those businesses that closed due to COVID-19. I hope this is clarified for you. Any confusion that you may have about how to behave during a pandemic. And if not, I don't care. Enjoy your day.